Today's video is actually one on Lumistarbun.
Lumistarbun claimed she didn't see the world as colorful, but instead it's mostly black and white.
But Lumi's excuse was, oh, but I thought Madame could change.
Lumistarbun is a creator that I've had the displeasure of knowing about for almost as long as I've been creating content.
This girl has behavioral issues.
Not only that, as someone that actually has gone through sexual the fact that you lied about it for fucking clout pissed me off so much.
They have multiple issues that are causing them to act out in a specific way.
13 attempts, over 20 documented doxxing cases, emotional manipulation, not safe for work artwork involving real minors, some being her exes, and one of the most elaborate online deception campaigns I've ever seen. This is a name that keeps coming up in the darkest corner of the internet art world and the VTuber world. A name that hides behind aliases, switches accounts, and vanishes just long enough for people to forget. Lumistarbun. But that name is just one of many. She's also gone by Lucas, Rux, Luna Pastel, where she is a furry, Luna Monrose, Mimi Kitten Pop, Dokeshineko, Bunny Boo, and dozens of usernames scattered across the internet. To some, she's a talented young artist, to others, a pathological liar, and to the people she left behind, she's something much, much worse. But for us, she's just gonna be a mega schizo. Next question. Before we dig into how Lumi constantly reinvented herself to dodge accountability, a quick word from this video sponsor, ironically, a game that doesn't need to fake anything to earn your trust. Most anime RPGs promise freedom, then hit you with gacha scams, soft pity systems, and stamina bars that top out faster than a debut stream with scuffed audio. Do It Night Abyss looked at all that and said, nope. This game is a long-term live service action RPG with no gacha, no stamina, and no pay to win. A game that actually respects your time, your effort, and your wallet. At launch, all characters and weapon banners are removed, and every character and weapon will be free to unlock through gameplay. You collect thoughts through the covered mission system to unlock characters. And yes, you can directly farm for the ones you want. Weapons are crafted with blueprints and materials, no RNG, no pooling, just pure gameplay. The graphics are gorgeous, flashier than a VTuber 5th outfit reveal, combat animation are crisp, characters are polished, and the cutscenes hit that cinematic flair without wasting your time. Mwah! There's no stamina system, so you can sweat as long as you want, commission dungeons are fully grindable, reward scale with your trial ranking, and drop multipliers help speed things up without burning you out. Monetization, it's strictly cosmetic. Skins, accessories, weapon effects, if you want to look cooler, go for it, but nothing gives you a stat advantage. It's fashion over function as it should be. And if you're in it for the long haul, there's plenty to do. Character and weapon collection, demon wedge builds, tough bus challenges, and co-op gameplay that doesn't feel tacked on. Do It Night Abyss officially launches on October 28th, 2025. Download now to unlock 7 free characters through launch events and gameplay. Enjoy 55 free pulls at launch right away and claim up to 107 total pulls for the cosmetic/skin banner through limited time events. And now, back to the video. So, let's start at the beginning, or at least where we can trace it back. The person known as Lumistarbun first gained attention as an online artist. Her style was cute, appealing, and very much at home in the VTuber adjacent art scene. She built an audience, friends, followers, fans, and even got her channel to about 20,000 subscribers doing art storytime streams and speed paints. Sometimes she would talk about drama, which gained her a lot of traction on her channel. But she wasn't just known for talking about drama, she was also constantly at the center of it. Back then, she started getting involved with a controversial artist called Madame. After this artist was cancelled by the art community, she claimed that Madame betrayed her and was using her for art. She gained notoriety during that period by garnering sympathy, which led her channel to skyrocket from 10,000 subscribers to 18,000 subscribers. However, netizens later found out that everything Lumistarbun had claimed were lies. She hadn't been manipulated by Madame at all, and this would set the tone for many of Lumistarbun's future actions. Another controversy she got in during this time was when she got accused of commissioning artists, then later claiming the work was ugly or traced with no proof, and filing PayPal disputes to keep the art and a refund. Facing mounting backlash and loss of subscribers, she eventually deleted her channel while it sat at around 17,000 subscribers. In 2017, however, she launched a new channel named Ruxio Lucaso under the persona persona Rux in a Tux, or Luca. This channel was dedicated to Minecraft gaming, where she claimed to be a man named Lucas. Lumi would then claim she is transsexual. However, as we'll see later in the video, Lumi has a history of switching both personas and genders back and forth, sometimes even during the same day, like you'd switch up a dirty pair of socks after a workout. So for the sake of clarity in this video, I'll just stick to calling her Lumi and she for her pronoun, because I can barely keep up with all of her mood swings, and if I can't keep up, then there's no way you guys will.
I don't know what my gender is. I have been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, so I am supposed to be a trans guy or non-binary masculine.
Lumi repeated this pattern of involving herself in drama or participating in talking about others people's drama until her channel grew again. In fact, another one of her earliest boosts in online notoriety came back in 2018 when she exposed another controversial figure in the art community, a creator known as iMilky. I have another video on this person, so feel free to check it out and put a pin on this name because it will come back later in the video. At the time, Lumi accused iMilky of deeply inappropriate behavior with minors, and those call-out posts gained traction. Unbeknownst to her, iMilky was also a convicted child predator at the time. But this was the first sign that Lumi had a taste for drama and for calling people out, at least when it suited her. The problem was, no one realized just how deep it went until it was too late. One of Lumi's earliest and most heavily targeted victims was a user known online as Castiel. Out of all the people involved in the Lumistarbun situation, Castiel's case is arguably the most extreme and the most well documented. Castiel is another artist and small creator. Her and Lumi had been friends but had a fight, which eventually led to Lumi doxing her with the help of her then boyfriend Matt. According to Castiel, she was doxed more than 20 times. In fact, it got so bad that her home address, photos of her house, photos of her family, and phone numbers were all leaked and circulated repeatedly month after month after month. Along with photos from her dad, which Lumistarbun found on Facebook. She also sent pizzas to her family's house, which at first I thought, hey, that's kind of cool, free pizza. But apparently, that's a common form of online harassment to intimidate someone by sending them the clear message of, hey, I know where you live. And unfortunately, the receiver still has to pay for the pizza. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is it wasn't just threats or vague references, it was direct contact with her real life privacy. Or in other words, she's completely batshit insane. And then there's the part that turns this from harassment into something that genuinely crosses legal lines. When asked if Lumi had attempted to swat her, meaning calling in fake police emergency to have a team sent to someone's home, which could put someone in real life threatening danger, by the way, Castiel confirmed that she did. The only reason it didn't work, she says, is because she lives in Sweden and local authorities require more verification before acting on anonymous tips like that. So let that sink in for a second. Swatting is not just a prank, it's a felony in most countries. In the United States, for example, people have died during fake SWAT raids. And in Lumi's case, it may have only failed due to jurisdiction. There's also mention of a security camera footage showing strangers standing outside Castiel's home taking pictures. These screenshots were reportedly sent to the creator who interviewed her, Toastify, but out of respect for Castiel's privacy and to avoid repeating the doxing, they were obviously not shown in his video. When interviewed by Toastify, Castiel said the harassment she received from Lumi triggered PTSD symptoms and made it very difficult for her to trust other onlines. She described Lumi's behavior as sustained, strategic, and personal. This wasn't just about being insulted. This was a calculated effort to ruin someone's mental state, threaten their safety, and silence them through fear. And if there was ever any doubt about who was behind it, Lumi removed it herself, because in a live stream, she admitted to everything.
The only information that I had was her address and some pictures of her. Now these pictures are obviously already public, so that that couldn't be the doxing part because she has posted those before. And the address thing I only sent to one of her close friends. She can say that they weren't close, but the other friend told me they were close.
Thing is, the pictures she posted were those of Castiel and her family, not pictures Castiel had willingly published online, as she's insinuating. As for the "it's not doxing because I only gave her address to a close friend," she would later on retract that statement that it was a close friend of Castiel, so she basically just gave her address to a random stranger online.
And the address had already been public on Twitter and stuff, so I didn't really think it was that bad.
Leaking sensitive information to a third party is still doxing. And even if it wasn't, let's not pretend it wasn't done in a malicious way, because it definitely was. You harassed this person's family and threatened to send SWAT teams to their house. It's still information that Castiel didn't volunteer to said person. It is a serious breach of privacy. She vaguely admits to doing wrong, if that can even be called an apology, since she then claimed, "I do still not feel much remorse, empathy, or anything like that. It's getting better and better every day." But like every other quote-unquote apology with Lumistarbun, it only came after the receipt had already been shown and she received public backlash. Not only that, but Lumi also excuses herself from harassing and doxing Castiel by claiming she's autistic.
I don't want to put pity on myself. That's not a thing I want to do. But you need to put in like the mental health situation of the other person in hand. I don't know if I told you, but I have autism as well, which makes it so social interactions and stuff, like knowing when you're sorry, knowing what to say and stuff like that, it's not easy. It's really not easy, and you need to take it slow with me.
I feel like she has a victim bingo card with all the typical internet excuses you can think of, and she just throws a coin at one of them and bingo! This is gonna be my excuse for the day. And as usual, Lumi claimed she wanted to change, but quickly reverted to her old behavior, picking fights and acting reprehensibly online. And while Castiel may be the most documented case, she's unfortunately not the only one. And then there's Honeyfoo, a small YouTuber who originally supported Lumi, even interviewing her during a previous round of allegations. In her own words, Honeyfoo said Lumi treated her and her friends like shit, banned them from servers, and eventually doxed her as well. She says she received messages and proof from friends and fans confirming that Lumi had leaked her personal info. In her speed paint video, Honeyfoo makes it very clear she felt extremely betrayed. She had once been a fan, she had believed Lumi's side of the story even, and then she was used and discarded like the others once she didn't suit Lumi's needs anymore. Lumi also made a video about another person known as Light, someone she had previously been close to as well. In that video, she accused Light of possibly dating a 13-year-old when they were 18.
She met someone after months of talking about wanting to have a boyfriend. And this guy he was 13 and she was 18. That's not okay. That's not okay. That's where my line went. And I was like, you should not talk to this person. Like, that is really weird. And he ended up being like ugly to her, so she stopped talking to him for that reason, but it was really weird. I don't know if he was 16 or 13. If he was 16, then I would understand it because the 4-year rule. But if he was 13, then that's not okay. Don't do that. But I can't say for 100%.
But what stood out even more was her choice to include details about Light's PTSD, information that had been shared in private.
So we started talking, and right off the bat she told me like, hey, I have PTSD and stuff, and that is totally cool. I got PTSD too. So I was like, okay, yeah, we can relate on something. That's great. So we started talking about that.
Thing is, Light then debunked everything Lumi said about her, proving everything Lumi had said were complete lies. Later, when questioned, Lumi tried to reframe it as a story time. It wasn't actually an expose. She was just telling her audience a fictional story about somebody real? But when asked why she posted it at all, her answer said everything.
I don't know what to do because I just woke up getting blocked. I tried to message her, she blocked me everywhere. So I decided to make a video ranting about it because I can't make art of her. So why not make a video?
So she got blocked and chose to retaliate by exposing private trauma and spread life-ruining allegation. Just another day in the cycle of Lumistarbun. One pattern that Lumistarbun repeatedly used to gain sympathy or deflect from criticism or controversy was repeatedly faking and baiting. I can never understand how somebody could default to that because it's pretty extreme, but clearly that is Lumistarbun's default reaction to dealing with her problems. For example, she allegedly faked up to 13 deaths. Blue's got some catching up to do. I won't go through every instance where she faked her death here, but I'll showcase a few of the most obnoxious examples. In one instance, she faked wound dressing after pretending she shot herself in the head. She also painted a fake bullet wound on herself with a Sharpie probably. And another reason why people were so skeptical of her shooting herself was because she live streamed a message literal minutes before her alleged death.
Hello everyone, it's Lucas. I didn't want to make this video. I really didn't. But I think it's a good time to do. I've tried to commit before, a few times, 4 to be exact. All of them failed. When I tried to hang myself, but my mom caught me. I was sent to the mental hospital, but got out quickly. Another time I tried to overdose. It didn't work. Another time I tried to didn't work. And the last time I'm not gonna talk about. But this time I'm gonna make sure I do it.
In another instance, one day a Milo account suddenly appeared, claiming they were an IRL friend of Lumistarbun, which they had known since they were 4. They claimed they had received a phone call from Lumi's mother, and according to her, Lumi had regrettably passed away. She announced Lumi's death via a tweet using a Swedish article reporting on the death of a Swedish teen by suicide. But the cracks showed immediately. Lumi had previously claimed to have no IRL friends, so that part didn't make sense. The article had also been published less than a day after Lumi's supposed death, and the screenshot had no source, no publication name, and no archive. It couldn't be linked back to any news site. It was literally just a screenshot image with a grammar error that no native speaker would ever make. On top of that, the phrasing felt dramatized, something a news article wouldn't use, and the formatting didn't match any known Swedish outlet either. Worst, no obituary, police report, or official notice ever backed it up. It just looked staged, and conveniently, it had surfaced right as the backlash against Lumi was peaking. Multiple people dug into this claim and came to the same conclusion. Milo was Lumi. And if that's true, it means that Lumi used a fake persona to announce her own death in order to avoid consequences for her actions. To accompany this hoax, Lumi, posing as her own mother, reached out messaging various mutuals and concerned friends to confirm her death. On top of that, she also privately messaged someone who had exposed the fake death on Twitter, chastising them for disrespecting the dead. The message reads, "Hello again. Some of Lucas' friends led me to a tweet about him faking all of this. I can't begin to say how cruel and horrible those people may be to say anything of the sort. Yesterday, Lucas passed on and his friend Redacted getting DMs about how bad he is. It's truly disgusting. Lucas is human. Everyone makes mistakes. We are all grieving here and don't want anything more than peace and quiet during this difficult time." The audacity that she has sending that message, trying to guilt trip someone about her fake death is astounding. And then on February 26, 2020, her then boyfriend Matt tweeted from her account that Lumistarbun had passed away. Again, later on, she would admit that was also fake and that she had forced her boyfriend to do it, going on Twitter to say, "I have heard voices for over a year now telling me to do things, telling me to kill myself or kill others, even told me to kill my own animals and boyfriend. So I faked it to make it stop. They stop for a while, but they just continue after a while. It's like I have to fake my own for it to stop. That's why I did it. That's why I lied. To make everything stop. To make me not be crazy anymore. Please understand that and not judge me. I'm trying so hard to stop and it's really difficult." Lumi, honey, you faked your death 13 times already and you're still crazy. It ain't working. We need to find a new solution. Of course, netizens in the YouTube commentary community were not happy about all of these fake deaths and Lumi's attempt to repeatedly dodge accountability. This eventually forced her hand, and on February 26, 2020, she would apologize for faking her death. Claims she wants to improve and get better and will take her little break till until May in order to do so. This would be the first of many apologies Lumi would go on to release, each one promising personal growth or accompanied by a traumatic anecdote designed to elicit sympathy. More often than not, those apologies were vaguely worded, conveniently avoiding direct mention of the accusations against her. As a result, when new viewers came across them, or when people tried to look back through archives to understand the full scope of her actions, it became increasingly difficult to piece together a clear picture of her behavior. It was a pattern, and one that seemed almost intentional. One of the most disturbing allegations on Lumistarbun revolves around sexually explicit drawings involving real underage people, including Lumi herself. In past relationships, Lumi was reportedly 16 and the person she was dating was 13 or 14. And at some point during this relationship, Lumi drew and posted not safe for work artwork depicting sexual acts between them. Let me be absolutely clear. This is not just questionable, this isn't just bad judgment, this is child. In most countries, including Sweden, where Lumi reportedly lives, the creation of depictions of real minors, even if drawn, falls under child laws. Whether this was meant to be ironic, romantic, or private, it doesn't matter. The content existed, it was shared, and it involved a real minor whom Lumi was in a relationship with. This allegation was first publicly addressed in a now unlisted video by Surgeon Pink, who identified the images as part of a larger pattern, Lumi creating not safe for work content of herself and underage partners and sharing it online.
He posted not safe for work artwork of him and his girlfriend. He's roughly 13 or 14 and she's 16. This is technically child as both people exist and are under the age of consent.
At the time of that video, no public denial was made by Lumi, no explanation, and no retraction. Lumi then later targeted her ex-boyfriend, who goes on by the username of Manipulative, through an alternate account called Exposing Matt. The pattern was nearly identical. Create an account, post personal or defamatory content, disappear when the heat picks up. Although Matt initially was one of her accomplices and even helped her in harassing and doxing Castiel, it seems somewhere along the line they had a breakup, which resulted in Lumistarbun crashing out on Twitter about it and even tweeting a fan art of him getting beheaded. This escalated into her ominously tweeting that she had just found out about something and that she will be off until October. Except she ended up just coming back a few days later to go live on stream and accuse Matt of graping her.
One night when we were cuddling in bed, he asked me to do something with him and ended up forcing me to do it, even if I didn't want to. Even when I said no and he just told me, "What do you mean by no?" Now, he's saying it was in a joking manner, but I really didn't take it as such. And as a victim myself of a few years, this isn't a joke you make to a victim. He knew what happened to me, but he didn't care, so we continued. I came crying down to my mom and I messaged all my friends like, "Matt, you did this, is this right?" And they all were like, "Yes, that's right, Lou, you gotta call someone." I didn't call anyone because I was really scared and stuff, so now I suffer from PTSD from it, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't have any proof of him doing it more than him admitting to it.
According to him, when he asked her what's wrong, she then apologized for her behavior and admitted that she lied about being raped.
A few hours later, like she said, I lied about being.
He even claims he forgave her and supported her after all of that.
I was just sort of like, I didn't even ask her about it. Like, this goes to show how much I forgave her. I literally just was like, it's okay, we'll get through it, or something like that. I just supported her. I don't know.
But later, on April 12th, Lumi made this fake account exposing Matt to dox him. She stole his previous name and tried to pose as him as well. When people called her out for impersonation, she vehemently denied the claims. Then, she tweeted out his home address. She logged into his Snapchat and sent a snap to literally all of his friends saying that he hated them. She hacked his Facebook and she distributed CP of Matt, since he was 17 at the time. She sent them to all of his friends. He revealed all of that in a live stream where he had to debunk Lumi's allegations and clear his name. And later on would reveal that she had essayed him as well during the relationship.
The thing that gets me the most was when my mum walked into the room. Like, my mum just walked in and just you just saw her face and she knew. And then like I found out that like it was sent to my mom and all my family, everyone.
And then, 6 days after the breakup, she allegedly sent him a pregnancy test claiming she is pregnant. She also spoke about this on a live stream.
You know, it looked so fake. It looked like she just got a pen. Yeah, she just got a pen and just drawn a line on it.
But because Lumi had a long history of being a liar, netizens naturally demanded proof. So she posted photos of her ultrasound, except people quickly traced the original image back to an online Swedish group where women discussed their pregnancies. The ultrasound actually belonged to a woman named Sava. Lumi had just poorly photoshopped it to make it look like it was hers. Insane. As if that wasn't enough, she also attempted to use multiple copyright strikes against his channel, targeting the use of her artwork. Artwork she had originally gifted to him and that he had properly credited in his video, mind you. Despite this, her copyright claims led to his video being taken down. Once Matt had enough, he allegedly called the cops on her. Finally, after everything she's put him through, she starts asking him to hang out and talk again. You can see her requesting him to add her back to Discord and her mopping around in her own Discord server complaining that he is a horrible person because he refused to talk to her. And this is after she's leaked his nudes, doxed him, tried to take down his channel with false copyright strikes, and tried to ruin his reputation by claiming he raped her. In his message to her, you can clearly see him saying that she's unhinged, derailed, and outright scary person. He says, yes, I'm scared of you, but who wouldn't be? And he's right about that one. Someone who's got nothing to lose and an infinite amount of lies and time on their hand is always scary. She then continued to try to get his attention on Twitter while continually spreading lies about him. Oh, fuck off, Lamau, you're so fucking pathetic. We don't have to make this public. But clearly she did. Fucking stop tweeting and talk to me like a real fucking person instead of this childish shit. Hey, at MadBullDev, if you're really as well and great and mature as you and your girlfriend says you are, then I don't know, maybe prove it and stop acting childish, Lamau. I have apologized. I have done everything in my power to make you comfortable. I have done everything in my power to make you comfortable while talking it out with me. I have offered to drop the charges on you and move on with our lives, but you refuse. You are the most childish thing I have ever talked to. I'm sorry you're not mature enough to swallow your own damn pride and own up to your own mistakes and apologize to me. Why do I need an apology, you ask? 1, he literally got me pregnant and wouldn't talk to me because of it and left me afterwards. 2, he says he doesn't care if I self-harm. 3, send shit to my house. 4, ignore me when I was super and needed him. And 5, I have apologized to him. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot, she then decided to fake her miscarriage, claiming her boyfriend forced her to do it. This drama won't end until we talk, and for that I'm so fucking pissed and done with this because this is ruining both our mental health and you're just ignoring the problem. The problem is your own damn self. Grow the fuck up and stop acting like a little bitch. Thank you. You forced me to get an abortion. You forced me to kill my own child because you couldn't deal with it. Get your responsibilities straight. Get some fucking help. She's so dramatic, I can't. I'd like to say her life could be a movie, except realistically, it's more like a trilogy and several spin-offs nobody asked for. Lumi then began doxing and harassing the girl her ex-boyfriend started dating after their breakup. She even went as far as threatening to send SWAT teams to the girl's house. Despite all of this, Matt reconnected with Lumi during that relationship and ended up cheating on his girlfriend with her. It blows my mind. And Lumi, as a final twist of the knife, fully aware that this exposed Matt's infidelity, posted Matt's nudes online as revenge. Because, you know, that's totally a normal reaction. But then again, nothing Lumi has done up to this point could be considered normal. Eventually, Matt ended his relationship with both of them. Amid intensifying criticism, Lumistarbun, also known as Rox, released a tweet-longer and an apology video where she more or less admitted to essay, lying, and falsely issuing copyright strikes against him. However, she denied the hacking allegations, claiming that since he had given her his password, it wasn't technically hacking. Sure, it may not fit the strict definition of hacking, but to be fair, he also never claimed it was some high-tech breach in the first place. Regardless, she still logged into into his account and messaged all of his friends in an apparent attempt to sabotage his relationship with them, so it was malicious, no matter what you call it. And then she closed her Twitlonger with the most unhinged Menhera moment yet. I won't lie and say I don't still love you. Call me obsessed, but you know how I am. Once I love someone, I never truly stop. You meant so much to me and I was the best thing to ever happen to me, and to lose something or well someone like that just gutted me to my core. I hope one day you can forgive me, and I understand you will never speak to me again, but I hope you will understand that I love you so much and will never stop hope for you to get better and have a bright future. DM me if you ever need anything from me. Thank you for reading. Heart. Honestly, if somebody ever writes that to you after putting you through all this shit, just run. Shortly after, in a now deleted Twitter post, she admitted to having pressured her boyfriend to the point of taking his own life. Before you say anything, is not a joke, and it was never a joke for me. I'm genuinely from everything that has happened, and I forced Matt to do it. He didn't want to. It's not his fault. I made him do it, and that's disgusting of me. I'm disgusting and I will never be forgiven, but I'm officially going into serious therapy. I won't be active much, and being prescribed antidepressants, I should be okay in a week or so. Already so far, everything that's happened has been absolutely batshit insane. And yet, we've barely scratched the surface. And after all of that, what did Lumistarbun do? She fell back on her oldest tactic, faking her own death to escape accountability. In 2 back-to-back live streams, you can actually watch the cycle unfold in real time. Chat flooding with panic messages asking if she's okay, while she pivots between self-pity and defiance. The streams are bizarre to watch, to say the least. She claims Matt and Starla wanted her dead.
Starla wants me dead, know that for sure.
She then contradicts herself constantly. In one, she insists, I tried calling a hotline, but they told me to go to sleep. And by the very next day, she's like, I should have called a hotline, but I didn't do that, and that's my fault. She calls herself manipulative, admits she's hurt people, then immediately frames herself as the victim. She says she wants to admit everything, but never actually does. It's not just the words, it's the performance. Crying, venting, hinting at suicide, but never actually leaving the stream. Telling her viewers that she has no friends while simultaneously relying on them as an audience.
Now that my parents are gone, I don't have anyone. Like, I don't have friends in real life. I don't have even friends online anymore.
It's a textbook mix of baiting and attention seeking, and it's honestly sickening to take advantage of people like that. Let's move on to 2021 now. In 2021, Lumi was then accused of stealing other people's OCs and passing them off as her own, as well as tracing again. A YouTuber named Hardy McSmarty revealed that Lumi had been threatening her if she made a video of her, but regardless, she made it and released it anyway. The video reveals she stole and traced an artist by the name of Zika0816, not even crediting her. She was also accused of stealing other people's OC and tracing artwork without crediting the source. Later on, a user named Jorby, also known online as @AppleCatDoodles, was involved in a series of private and public conversations with Lumistarbun. The screenshots reveal a pattern of comments that are not only cruel, they're also overly transphobic. At the time, Jorby identified as male, Lumi, also trans, referring to herself or himself. Honestly, at this point, I can't keep up with all of her personalities anymore. As Luca, repeatedly referred to Jorby using a female pronoun, made remarks about Jorby's female features, and accused him of fake trans attention. I hope the eye rolls are visible on my avatar. In one message, Lumi said, "Hope you know what a piece of shit you are. Like, did you know you have a pussy, or are you happy about that? Are you happy to have boobs, Lamau? Hope you are, cause they are staying. Did you know that you're also faking being trans to get attention and no one actually likes you? Like, you're annoying as shit, Lamau. Lol, you can't even keep the same gender for a week. Shut the fuck up. We call that projection." Jorby then responds to her, "1 week you're a guy, next you're intersex, next you're a girl," he continues. Kinda true though. Lucas responds, "I'm intersex, born mostly male. That never changed." Jorby responds, "Lol, I can hold myself, thanks." Lucas, you look like a fucking oof. The fact that she's accusing Jorby of faking being trans when Lumi, after all we've uncovered about her, is probably actually the one faking being trans is peak irony. You don't even pass, like you look and sound like a girl. I mean, I was born one. So let me be clear. Lumi, a trans person, was using transphobic insults and appearance shaming to attack another trans person. That's crazy. She also continued to harass Jorby by sending her mean and anonymous messages, but obviously they're from her. Jordan is a... Hey Jordan, remember that you have a vagina? Yeah, you're a fucking girl. You... So what does Lumi do once she gets called out? She blocked Jorby, deleted the messages, and attempted to sweep everything under the rug. She didn't offer an apology, she didn't offer an explanation, just silence, followed by the sudden cleanse of their online footprint. But of course it didn't work. Jorby, understandably furious, began sharing the screenshots publicly, and the community started to take notice once again. When questioned, Lumi claimed that they were being harassed, and they positioned themselves as the victim. A familiar pattern we'll come back to again and again and again. But the hypocrisy didn't end here. If you were to track Lumi's history online using a username, you'd fail. Not because the data isn't there, it is, but because the identity you're looking for won't exist long enough to catch. Lumi had a pattern of rebranding, escaping, deleting, and rewriting history over and over and over again. Throughout her years online, she has gone by Lumistarbun, Lucas, Roxana Tux, Lunam Rose, Luna Taunter, Fantasia, Luna Monrose, Luna Qualis, Luna MS Moon, and Mimi Kitten Pop, etc., etc. There is probably so many more usernames attached to this person that we don't even know about, I am sure. In some instances, for example, Lumi was found to even use sock puppet or burner accounts to defend herself from criticism online, posing as an innocent bystander. This isn't about aesthetic choice. She's not rebranding just to change usernames for fun. It's an intentional strategy, one that allows her to leave behind accountability like a snake shedding its skin. Another example of this tactic involves her frequent gender switching, and she took that to the extreme. Sometimes she presents herself as Lucas, usually when trying to distance herself from Lumi scandals. Sometimes she would switch back to Lumi, claiming Lucas is her dead name. In a now deleted comment, she would say, "Call me Lumi, not Lucas. Lucas was a horrible person who cared about no one but themselves. I may have been that person in the past, but no longer." She would also get very upset when people would dead name her or call her the wrong persona. But there's a problem with that narrative. Lumi has been documented switching back to the name Lucas on multiple occasions, usually when trying to defend herself from new allegations. Heck, I even found an instance where in the same day, she switched from her Vin persona to her Luna persona. At 4 p.m., she was Luna, then at midnight, like Cinderella, she became Vin. Wild. The usage of identity as both sword and shield is consistent throughout her online behavior. When accused of serious misconduct, she's Lucas, and that was a different person. When seeking sympathy, oh, suddenly she's Lumi, a vulnerable trans woman trying to recover from trauma. And when caught lying, she's Rux, and Rux is dead. Then the crocodile tears and excuses roll in so she can avoid responsibility. She'll accuse them of dead naming, transphobia, or harassment, as if anybody could keep up with her ever-changing personas. At this point, she's gender changing like it's a freaking mood ring. It's a cycle designed to exhaust critics, confuse the timelines, and muddy the record. And perhaps most damaging of all, her behavior ended up casting a negative light on the broader trans community, despite having nothing to do with them. If you thought the drama stopped here, you'd be mistaken, because Lumi also had a long track record of faking just about anything for attention. Indeed, between 2020 and 2021, Lumi fabricated so many stories claiming everything from illnesses to traumas to death to mental conditions to fake friends posing as family members, even a fake pregnancy. You name it, she probably faked it. Among her most outrageous fabrications was a claim of being abused, where she even uploaded photos of her bruises and injuries, but the lie didn't last long. Users quickly debunked the image as photoshopped after tracing the original source she had edited them from. Awkward. She then pretended to be in therapy and told people she was going to rehab. We gotta give her props for creativity, at least. Now, I've already mentioned how Lumistarbun got her big break by exposing a groomer named iMilky back then when she first started her channel, which, to be fair, was probably one of the only genuinely good things she did. But and here's a big but, here's where things take a wild turn. For some reason, in late 2019 to early 2020, she decided to rekindle her friendship with iMilky. She publicly reposted a tweet of iMilky praising her, seemingly eager to make the reconciliation known. "I may have messed up my life yesterday, but I'm glad to have my best friend back. Thank you for the support, iMilky. I can't thank you enough for everything you have done for me, and I'm sorry for hurting you. I swear I will do better." This confused and enraged a lot of people. Why was someone who built her clout on calling out a PDF file suddenly cozying up with one of them? When the backlash hit, Lumi doubled down. She defended iMilky and she claimed people were harassing her for forgiving someone. But as always, the heat got too much, and when it did, she vanished again, well, after claiming she would stay off social medias and go to a psych ward, of course. In early 2021, Lumi was exposed for being openly fatphobic, berating another user over their appearance on Twitter. I won't go through the entire thread, it's a lengthy back and forth, but she comes across as very aggressive for no real reason. What makes it worse is that other people jumped in to call her out, pointing out the hypocrisy. Lumi constantly complained that people were being mean to her and not letting her move on from the past, yet here she was, starting fights on Twitter herself. But this next section is where we tackle some of the darkest and possibly criminal allegations against Lumistarbun. Mikey was a former partner of Lumi's who allegedly was coerced into sending nudes to her. This situation was brought to light by the creator Surgeon Pink.
Mikey is Rux's ex. Rux accused Mikey of neglecting and abusing him while in the relationship, as well as manipulated him and forced him to send nudes when Mikey said no many times. He also drew porn of Mikey many times without his consent. Mikey and Rux are both minors, and the porn was of both of them. Rux's excuse is that they are the characters of both of them, and his brother is involved in law and says that if two minors don't exist and the drawing is of them, then it's completely legal. The problem is that they aren't the characters of both of them, but the drawings of them IRL as well. This means it's child.
Additionally, a separate user named Kiko shared a near identical experience. A video by the creator Toastify reports on how Kiko was 16 years old when Lumi reportedly tried to pressure them into sending explicit images. According to Kiko, the interactions were emotionally manipulative as well. Lumi would switch between flattery, guilt-tripping, and indirect threats to try and get what she wanted. Again, this fits into the growing pattern. Private, manipulative interactions, pushing boundaries, drawing not safe for work of real people without consent, and playing the victim when confronted. And then there's a claim that changes the tone of this case permanently. According to Castiel, the person whom Lumi had doxed previously, Lumi allegedly sexted a 9-year-old child when she was 14 years old. However, this information comes secondhand. There's no screenshots or name shared deliberately out of respect for the victim, who reportedly did not want this story to be made public. So there's no hard evidence to back this up, no receipts, so take it with a grain of salt. However, the allegations was not made lightly, and most of what Castiel has told us about Lumistarbun up until now has been true. And in the context of everything else Lumi has been confirmed to have done, fake baiting, coercive manipulation, multiple instances of child involving herself and others, and coercing minors, it can't be ignored. Another victim that comes to mind in the long list of people Lumi hurt is Nari. According to a user named Misty Moon, who spoke with them directly, Nari confessed that Lumi had raped them. Rux dated a girl named Nari for approximately 1 year. They broke up a short period before their 1-year anniversary after having met each other in person only a while earlier. Personally, I believe that if you are put in a situation of where you are in an abusive relationship, you do not owe your abuser closure when breaking up. Neri broke up with Rux without explanation, and rightfully so. The abuse within their relationship had been ongoing for a while at that point, and even some outsiders were beginning to take notice. Neri had stated that she had been forced to do a lot of things within the relationship, one of them being to send nude photographs. Now, if you are aware of the previous Rux drama, it's no shocker that he attempted to force nudes from her, as I've been told by previous exes and multiple sources, name will not be stated for privacy's sake, that has also attempted to force them into sharing phallic picture of their bodies as well. Not only did he attempt to force nudes from her, but also tried to force her into sex when they met up. Neri had been meaning to end the relationship for a while, but she has been scared he'd expose the images of her to people when she did. She lived in fear of a relationship, and that's appalling all in itself. There is also a Discord message leaked of Lumi claiming she did try to force herself into her. It was late night when me and Neri were getting ready to go to the homecoming. While she was dressed up, I had a moment and couldn't help it anymore, so I pinned her against the wall and forced her to make out with me. I then later that night tried to force myself onto her, but realized what I was doing and stopped. I feel fucking horrible. I didn't mean to hurt her. I tried to sexually her, and I can't believe myself. Lumistarbun would then make another video defending herself of these claims. She would also allege that Neri had encouraged her to cut herself, and they had multiple cutting sessions together. Additionally, she denied the graping allegation, but plot twist claims that it was in fact Neri who had graped her.
She was everything I needed at that time, but there was abuse as well. Now, I don't want to drop anything too personal, but since someone decided to out it anyway, Nari was a known self-harmer. She would cut every inch of her body, and there wasn't really much I can do about it. And I'm not gonna lie, I did abuse her too. I would leave calls with her when I didn't feel like included with others, and I would tell her that I didn't want to be with her when she was needy. Nari and I did have sex. Keep in mind the age of consent there is 16. I was 14. She was in fact 16 or 17 years old. I don't quite remember. I think it was 16. I have always felt some sort of way about it, but I could never put my finger on it. I felt gross. At the same time, I don't regret it, but at the same time, like, I was a child and that was not my fault. I never forced myself onto her. She initiated it almost every time. I'm just wondering how no one said it was wrong to me when I was used and statutory.
There is no real evidence or solid proof provided for either party in this case. It's more of a he says, she says situation, but it's also been reported that Lumi has preyed on teenage girls back in 2017. All in all, judging from Lumi's previous patterns of abusing their romantic partners and preying on younger people, it's really hard to dismiss these claims as totally unfounded. There are countless YouTube videos documenting Lumistarbun's long history of lies, manipulation, and drama. Eventually, once the horrible things she's done under multiple personas caught up to her and the commentary community began covering it, Lumi escalated. She didn't try to argue with the criticism, she didn't attempt to debunk it, instead she tried to erase it, and she did that through false copyright strikes. After Lumi's apology video went live, she privately contacted a small creator named Nicopan who had published a video criticizing Lumi's behavior. It didn't go viral, it wasn't even that harsh, but Lumi still took issues with it. Instead of addressing anything publicly, Lumi reached out behind the scenes in DMs, and according to screenshots shared by Nico, she claimed she was trying to change and suggested the video was harmful to that progress. This wasn't a big creator. Nicopan had under 2,000 subscribers, but even that was enough for Lumi to try and shut it down. And then, on March 30th, 2020, a user under the name Luna Taunter issued a copyright strike on a critical video. And then on April 17, she submitted 3 more, targeting a reupload channel that had archived content related to her past behavior. Why 3? Because YouTube system automatically terminates a channel after 3 copyright strikes. In other words, this wasn't a random accidental takedown, it was a deliberate attempt to wipe her past behavior and get that archive channel deleted. So what kind of content was she striking? Reuploads of public videos she tried to take down, most of them being controversial, of course, a commentary, exposés, and her receipts. There are multiple YouTube accounts dedicated to archiving the videos Lumi uploaded across her various personas, and without them, it would be nearly impossible to piece together the full scope of what she's done. Now, it's fair use enough for her to strike down simple reuploads of her content, but when it comes to commentary, that does fall under fair use. And let's be honest, the real reason she's targeting those channels wasn't copyright. It was to erase the evidence of her own despicable behavior. Another notable case similar to this involves the YouTuber Only Jesp, who published a 1-hour video diving into Lumi's past behavior. At the height of the backlash, Lumi filed a copyright claim on that video as well. It was later retracted, and apparently Lumi and Jeff settled their conflict privately. But the fact that the strike was ever submitted, especially during peak scrutiny, shows the pattern. If you speak up, Lumi won't just try to dox you, she'll try to silence your platform entirely. And that's especially scary for a YouTube creator. She deliberately weaponized a system meant to protect them, to protect her lies instead. And it's worked for years. And while all of this was happening, another familiar name was about to resurface, because the iMilky story wasn't finished, not yet. As I foreshadowed before, after disappearing from the spotlight, iMilky reemerged under a new persona, a mute VR chat VTuber named Voidine. No voice, no history, just emotes, visuals, and a brand new name. It was subtle and quiet, but just enough to build a following, until Lumi came back, again, under the handle Rux in a Tux. This time, she wasn't defending iMilky though, she was done. The friendship had become a liability and she needed to distance herself from the backlash. So she did what she always does when the tide turns. She flipped. She exposed the Voidine persona as being iMilky's latest alias, bringing the whole operation crashing down and outing her for being a convicted The Voiding account was effectively nuked overnight. But wait, there's more. In mid-2021, Lumistarbun decided to infiltrate the VTuber community via a VTuber persona called Dokeshi Neko. The character was soft-spoken, sickly, claimed to be battling cancer. They even managed to raise over $1,000 for rent, except that's also a lie because Lumi lived with her mother back then. And then, in September, a post appeared hinting that the person behind the account had died, of course. But here's a catch. The artwork, the wording, and even the posting habits, they all rang a little too familiar. It didn't take long for people to connect Dokeshi Neko back to Lumistarbun. The art style was nearly identical, and if you followed this community for a while, you'll know Lumi already had a track record of staging her own online deaths. Lumi then tried to claim that Dokeshi Neko was actually iMilky's account. According to her, all the lies, the fake death, the manipulation, and the fundraising were iMilky's doing, but that fell apart pretty fast. The timelines didn't add up and the behavior didn't match, and it became very clear that Lumi was just deflecting blame. Now, iMilky wasn't exactly innocent in her own right, but this particular mess wasn't her fault. Lumi ended up admitting to faking her cancer story for money, saying, "I faked cancer more than once on another account as well as Dokeshi Neko. I'm in thousands of dollars in debt right now. I only tried to attempt suicide once to be twice." And she left the people who had generously donated to her blocked and without refunds. She ended this controversy by doing what she does best, which is running away and rebranding. And with the anonymity that the internet and the VTuber scene provides, reincarnating into a new persona has never been easier. And then in March 2022, Lumi dropped a tweet longer claiming she had been groomed by iMilky. She framed herself as the victim of long-term abuse, and while that accusation might have landed, it just didn't. By that point, Lumi had cried wolf one too many times and was completely out of good faith. Netizens picked her post apart. For starters, her timelines didn't match and didn't add up at all. Lumi implied she was 13 during the alleged grooming, but public posts suggest she was already 16. If she couldn't even be honest about the most basic facts, then chances are a lot of her other claims were lies too. Additionally, Lumi's story was vague, full of holes, and contradicted by her own past behavior. The post itself came out a few months after she faced backlash for the Dokeshi Neko stuff, which made the whole thing feel more like damage control than a genuine disclosure. And after dropping the accusation, she didn't follow up, clarified anything, or even offer receipts. She just moved on and left everyone else to connect the dots. But wait! There's more. A normal person would have probably ran away with their tail between their legs after facing such a humiliation and stayed off the internet forever. However, Lumistarbun is not a normal person. And so, in 2025, Lumi rebranded again to an account named Bunny, where she once again suicide baited, posted photos of her drug use, and it's unclear whether she was consuming or also lying about it. Regardless, this made members of her community extremely worried to the point where paramedics were called to her household. After being found out and exposed, you've probably guessed it, she released another apology. Throughout 2020 to 2025, I made mistakes that are unforgivable and awful. From just being a bad friend, girlfriend, etc. to doing straight up deplorable things, lying about my own past, hiding my old usernames to not be connected or found, making up fake stories, romanticizing my own drug abuse, and more. I cannot say sorry enough for these things, such as privately doxing someone in 2020 to now betraying my community with lies. I can't say any of you deserve this, and yesterday a great member of this community contacted the paramedics for my drug abuse and finally got me the help I needed. I will start DBT in August, a behavioral therapy to fix my issues and correct some of the awful behaviors of mine. I would have started next year if it wasn't for them. I have a friend taking care of my socials until I've proven I gotten better, which means 1, I won't reply to posts, 2, I won't see post replies, and 3, I can reply to DMs, 4, I won't take commissions. These things should have always been taken with the utmost care, seriousness, and more, and I'm ready for whatever criticism comes my way. I wish nothing but the best for you, even if you choose to stay, follow, unfollow, block, or remove me anywhere. I have friends, I have support, and I will always welcome you back whenever things have gotten better. Thank you, Lunette, aka Bunny. So she's promising once again that she would take this with the most extreme care and seriousness, and that she was ready for any criticism to come her way. However, netizens found out that Lumi was being dishonest, I know, shockers, and purposely vague in her statement to avoid accountability. For instance, she refers to the doxing of Castiel as privately doxing someone, and this is her attempt to downplay her actions, when what she put Castiel through was outright stalkerish behavior, which endangered both the lives of Castiel and her family. Additionally, she brings up her past drug abuse in a way that feels less like accountability and more like a bid for sympathy, essentially implying that the drugs, not her, were responsible for her harmful actions. And finally, she casually refers to herself as just a bad friend or a bad girlfriend, which is a massive understatement considering her patterns of doxing romantic partners and friends, faking pregnancies, coercing them to send nudes to her while them being minor, mind you, and even accusing former partners of serious allegations like sexual or rape. The apology, rather than taking full accountability, felt like a carefully crafted attempt at image repair, glossing over the most egregious parts of her behavior. And this account, the Bunny account, is still active to this day, mind you. She is still in our community, the VTuber community. So watch out. And then in May 2025, she also faked cancer again, because of course she did. It's almost like she's collecting all of the infinity stones of scandal. She needed the final fake cancer allegation to make her gauntlet complete. As early as May or June of 2025, she claimed she had a benign chest cancer that needed to be removed. It was yet another dramatic claim, seemingly designed to garner sympathy and deflect criticism. And now, very recently, in June 2025, still on the alias Bunny, or I don't know how to pronounce this, and honestly, who cares, because she's getting a new username tomorrow. Lumistarbun leveled serious accusations against Minecraft creator I Am Maker during their trip to America for VidCon. She alleged then that Maker had assaulted and raped her.
I was sexually assaulted by Maker Media Plus, also known as Brock. On the morning of the 19th of June, 2025, I was sexually by Maker Media Plus, also known as Brock. We agreed to have sex in the shower, and after that, I told him that I didn't want him to finish in me, and that I was not on birth control. This was, yes, irresponsible of me, but I took it as a please pull out before you come in me. He chose not to, and came in me, and said, see you in 9 months. I did not consent to this, and I told him as such.
She even posted what she claimed were bruises from the incident, but it was later revealed they were just sunburns. What? Makers and others, of course, denied these accusations. Lumi told Maker's friend group she'd been assaulted and that being around him made her uncomfortable. At the same time, she told Maker that his own friends didn't want him around or staying at their shared Airbnb. One of the group members, Aisi, gave Lumi an emergency contraceptive, but she claimed she was too afraid to take it since she was in a new country. This member also had to pay for calling the paramedics to take care of Lumi's fake rape call? ? Despite saying she had no money, Lumi and Maker ended up staying at a hotel together. And later, Lumi claimed she fainted at a restaurant and wanted to return to the Airbnb. She then told a friend that she had been dumped and had to go home, before locking the rest of the group out of the Airbnb for a while. She also claimed Aisi made her uncomfortable. She even kicked a guy named Corluz out of the room he paid for. allegedly sending him messages day one, trying to get him to give up on his room because she was uncomfortable with Aisi, who had done nothing to her besides interact with her once or twice. According to Curlus, she tried to kick him out of the $300 room he paid for so she could share it with Maker, whom she wanted to have intercourse with. He ends up pleading for her to get off the internet. And so are we. And that is the chaotic story of Lumistarbun up until now. At least, I think. It's quite difficult to track her down accurately through all of her personas over the span of 7 years, and some of these timelines were quite nebulous. At this point, I wouldn't even be shocked if 5 years down the line, scientists find out that what we knew about Lumistarbun was only the tip of the iceberg of her ridiculous lies. What's wild is how someone like Lumi can just keep on hitting the reset button infinitely. New name, new brand, new act, especially in spaces like VTubing where you can pop up with a shiny new character and no one would even know it's you. And thank God for those dedicated YouTube archive channels and Twitter accounts who are keeping track of all of her username changes. God knows these guys are working overtime 24/7 probably. But that's also why it's important to keep talking about these things, because again, through these 7 years, Lumi had chances time and time again to grow and become a better person. And yet, all she has done is cause harm, real harm, everywhere she went. And if I can partake one last piece of advice before I leave, if you're ever trying to run from serious accusations, maybe don't rebrand as a Fury than a Minecraft YouTuber. Bad choice when you're trying to rebrand from the predatory accusations. You should stay away from those. Anyway, whew, I hope I never have to cover something like that again. If you've enjoyed today's breakdown and want to support the channel, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a future upload. And if you want exclusive videos, anime reactions, and unfiltered commentary I can't post here on YouTube, check out my Patreon linked in the description down below. Your support helps keeps these deep dives going every single week. And if you want to stay updated on the latest VTuber happenings, dig through archive content, or just hang out with the community during anime and Star Wars watch-alongs, join the Discord at discord.gg/Rima. We've got forum-style chats, exclusive members-only channel, and it's the best place to keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Over 20 documented... It's not starting well. Boo, if that can even be called an apology, since she then claimed she literally said, She vaguely admits to doing wrong, if that can even be called an apology She vaguely admits to doing wrong. I can't take this shit seriously. On top of that, the phrasing... Sorry, I'm just gonna take a break and pick up. As if... Sorry, I'm gonna reword that. I have done everything in my power to make you comfortable. I have done everything in my power to make you comfortable. Amid intensify... I'm genuinely... They're romantic they're partners. Why did I write patterns? Partners. Was, in fact... It didn't take for VTubers' offers by reincarnating into it. Okay, what is this sentence? I wrote this last night and it doesn't make any fucking sense. So she was already lying about... How can I say that? For instance, she refers to the doxxing of Castile as a privately... Additionally, she brings up her past drug use... Or Boni... I don't know how to pronounce this. We knew about her, which is the tip of the... I can't say this joke. We even have a Minecraft server going on right now. Wait, maybe I shouldn't mention the Minecraft server in this video. They're gonna think we're weird.